I've done a lot of things in my career. As a health coach, I work with people all over the U.S. and help them understand their busy life and lifestyle and how to manage and navigate the ins and outs of just living a healthier, better lifestyle. And that's what we're going to go over today in our conversation about no gym, no problem. Exercise is one of the main reasons why I'm here in the first place, and really excited about sharing this with you. Let me grab the screen here. The chat box is open and alive and well, so definitely please share any questions you have. I'll be happy to jump into that. So here we go. No gym, no problem. A lot of people think exercise is always going to the gym. And you literally don't have to step in the gym at all to be a very active, very healthy person. From just doing stuff outside, doing stuff in your house, doing these objects that these people are doing in the image here. So let's jump in and go through what the contents are today. We have exercise guidelines. We have setting you up for success, building your own workout. I can assure you even, that what you do in your normal everyday life is way more difficult than building an actual workout routine. It's more about just pushing play that sometimes is harder if you have a video to follow along, or just getting to the gym or going in or starting the workout. That's usually always the more challenging part of this. And then moving as well. So exercise guidelines, what are some of the ways that we need to set up a very good workout routine that allows you to get the most out of the activity and the time that you set aside? That's really important to maximize the amount of time to get some what we call ROI. We want some return on that in improving your health, your strength, your cardiovascular fitness, and all that stuff. So we have option number one is at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity. As you can see, the icon, it's like biking, walking, it's doing things at a moderate heart rate level. Think about 40, 50, maybe 60% of your heart rate in that situation. 2 days of doing strength training. And so that's really important too, is making sure that the strength training gets going and you're able to get yourself into the workout routine as well. So that you're doing full body workouts. Think of major muscle movements as chest, back, shoulder, legs. Those are all going to be really good things for you to focus on. Option two is 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity. At least 2 days of major muscle workouts. Again, probably if you're only doing a full body workout twice a week makes a lot of sense. I'd put it like Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Thursday. Maybe you just work out a lot on the weekend because you have more time, Saturday, Sunday, and then during the week you just be active with walking or biking or whatnot. As the weather grows colder here in my neck of the woods, there's obviously a little less inclination to be going outside and more into an actual gym situation where you're working out. The last option obviously is an equivalent of both of those, doing some modest heart rate activities, doing some more intense activities, and finding that balance that would work for you. And again, lifting or doing some form of strength training twice a week. Your 70-year-old self, I promise you, will thank you for being able to get into the gym and being active and being healthy. So how do we define these things here? Well, moderate intensity is going to be defined with percentages, roughly somewhere like 30, 40, 50, maybe 60% aerobic heart rate. Or vigorous activity is going to be 70, 80, 90% of your heart rate max. And how we figure that out is a very age-old formula. I've known this my whole career. Is 220 minus your age gives you a ballpark guesstimate of what your heart rate maximum is. This is the ceiling. Now, certainly some people can have higher heart rates and some have lower max heart rates. It's just always individual. But that's a very good ballpark for most humans. Now, defining moderate, think of the breath conversation. If you're able to walk and talk and have a conversation, and maybe not just stringing every single sentence together, having little breaks here to take some breath. That's a good conversational pace to hold. Think of brisk walking, recreational sports, gardening if you're digging and toiling. And then we have vigorous activities of things where you're not quite holding sentences. There's going to be gasps of breath in between, and you're going to need to speak and talk to your person here as we go. So with that, running, intense workouts, think of boot camp classes, step classes, spinning classes, the Peloton, all that stuff helps in getting your heart rate up to that higher intensity level. Now, max muscle strengthening activities. Again, what this is defined as just lifting your body, lifting weights, using bands, using some form of external resistance. A lot of people call it strength training, and where they pick up heavy things and put them down. That's some of my primary activities right now. I do a lot of strength training and I walk a lot throughout the week. I'm always a big 10 or even 15K type of a guy. I'm even standing right now delivering this conversation because I just like to be moving and portable and bendable and not sitting. Now, one of the primary easy ways to think about this is progressive overload. That's just strength training 101. It's the way that you get stronger over time. And it triggers body adaptations and gets you lifting and getting stronger as you go. Again, when you're 70, you'll be happy that you're stronger than you were. So let's define progressive overload. Usually it's either lifting more weight or more reps. And so more weight generally can be seen as building strength. So, say lower rep numbers, anywhere from most of the time, most people do like 5-ish all the way up to 30 reps can be seen as a way to get muscle hypertrophy. Your typical rep range of hypertrophy, which is muscle growth, is going to be around, most of the time they say 8 to 12-ish reps. On the endurance side of things, it's more like 15, 20 or so. Maybe if you're doing like a body weight circuit or a boot camp class where there's higher numbers, that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to the gym, you might as well just lift a bar or a dumbbell or a machine that's heavy enough to allow to gain more strength in the time that you've allocated to go to the gym. So the advantages of lifting more weights, in general, we can get more hypertrophy, more strength training, better efficiency of your time and energy. You're going to get more results there. Now, let's speak results. Sometimes people think they're going to bulk up and gain all this muscle by going to the gym and lifting weights. Well, I assure you that in my whole career, most people aren't ever even remotely close to doing that. Okay, they might have some more tone or something, but they're not gonna all of a sudden look like the Hulk or professional football player or something. That takes a serious amount of consistency, training, calories. You have to be eating a lot of calories like all the time to stay in a subtle calorie surplus to be able to put muscle mass on your frame. That's just how that works. And most people aren't ever going to do that. So lifting, 12 pounds instead of 10 pounds, not really a big deal. Lifting 70 pounds on the machine instead of 50, not really a big deal. If you come back, you're like, Brian, I'm bench pressing 200 plus pounds on repeat, then yes, you're a very strong individual, stronger than most people will ever be in their whole life. So then yeah, but your specific training would have been shaped that way. Now, more reps is reduction of potential risk. Not to say you can get hurt doing too many reps. You develop a tendonitis or something like that. But with more weight, you could also get hurt just because of the sheer weight of it. But we always, again, progression overload, you should never be doing a weight that is too much for you. So we look at focusing on form, focusing on technique, focusing on incremental gains in weight or reps. It's mostly about total volume. Total volume meaning say you do 10 reps of 10 pounds, that's 100 pounds of total volume lifted. To get progressive overload, we could do two ways. We could do 12 pounds 10 times, that equals 120 pounds lifted. Or 12 reps at 10 pounds, and that again equals 120. So either way, you still get the same amount of volume at the work done in that workout routine. So each time you can kind of manipulate, am I doing a little bit more reps, a little more weight, and you just incrementally work your way up to get stronger, faster, and just generally overall better. So different ways to make sure that we balance out lifting, and I totally get people caught on this one. My marathon runner, she ran Chicago this weekend, and I also have a gentleman that's doing a 24-hour mountain bike ride right now, which is tremendous. And so what's happening here is that they also need to do even more time with flexibility, mobility, and finding themselves to be able to stay functional, because it can be a lot of repetitive motion that causes the body to stop moving or bending or twisting the way it should. So balance is the ability to control yourself. If I stand here on one leg, I should be able to stabilize myself and not risk falling. If you can't hold yourself for a reasonably long amount of time, you definitely should be working on balance issues. I'm still balancing on my left leg. Now, flexibility is to be able to touch your toes and to stretch and lift your arm above your head. That's obviously important too. So we want full range of motion through muscles to be flexible, their ability to lengthen in the first place, and then mobility is going through that range of motion. So as you see in this picture, the guy's holding his knee up toward his chest. That is moving through a range of motion, whereas in the flexibility, someone's bending over, touching their toe. That's great to have both parts of these, not just in general. Most of the time, people are going to do a mobility type exercise or movements before your workout and flexibility after. Balance, if you're doing good strength training routines, it's going to take care of itself. You're going to have strong musculature in your legs, and your center of gravity will be good, your core will be good, and balancing shouldn't be a problem. So ultimately what this boils down to is you should be regularly doing this stuff frequently. Chances are nobody on here is doing it, and I would say, hey, get some more flexibility stretching. It could be a simple 5-minute workout routine off YouTube. You could have your own little thing, get an app to do it. You could go to a class, a stretching class, yoga class, Pilates class, something like that. Those can work on some of these issues here, which is good. All right, moving on. Now, how do we make modifications to make sure that it works for you? You always want to do the things that you find most exciting, that work best for you, that keep you being consistent. I promise you, time and again, consistency over time is what's going to win the race here. So how do we modify? One is range of motion. We can shorten the range of motion of the activity. We can change the reps or number of reps that we're doing, the amount of weight lifted. Speed, we can speed things up, we can slow things down. The impact of the, say maybe in like kickboxing, if you love doing that, or a boxing class. They've got a lot of circuit boxing classes out there that can be really fun. You don't have to swing for the fences, so to speak, every time going for a knockout KO punch. You could just tap, so you're not bruising your knuckles and just creating this really hard impact. Or even say golf. You don't have to crush the ball into the next golf course or something. Where you can just hit the ball, make good contact, maintain good form, and that impact is going to be less on your body, your spine, and such. The surface, what type of surface are you on? A squat on a regular hard floor is a lot easier than on a Bosu ball. Okay, Bosu ball, there's a lot of stability in that, and it's a a fancier form of a squat that started happening in the 2000s when the Bosu ball. It's that half ball with a flat bottom and a bouncy looking ball on top. Usually blue is what it was colored. So pay attention. How do we understand if we shouldn't be making modifications? We got to feel the pain in the body or challenges of movement or going through some of these ranges of motion. Right now, my left shoulder here, for a long time, I couldn't even do this and grab to take my shirt off because this movement was not working for me. And a lot of it had to do with my rotator cuff. So I've been rolling out my shoulder with a lacrosse ball, with a foam roller. I've been getting my lat, which is underneath my armpit area here, and softening up that tissue to get it to function and fire properly so I don't have to go lighter weights and take more rest. If I can be proactive in my recovery, then I can function and lift my arm in its normal pattern of movement, range of motion, and all that. So, now being 41, maybe in the past I would have just kind of pushed through pain a little bit more, but if I feel a tweak coming on, I'm going to stop doing that exercise because I don't want to have a sore neck or sore back or something like that for days on end. It's really just not fun to do that. Nobody likes to walk around with a stiff back. They can't work out. And even to that extent, we should never be working out so hard that you feel squats for days. It's just, again, it's not fun. It doesn't usually, for most people, link up a positive, exciting time in the gym. It's usually pain in the gym for that situation. So if something does have like swelling or bruising, you probably should go to the doctor like yesterday, like when it started happening, and not wait 2 days to get to the doctor. Because there's a tear, there's some sort of something that may have happened there that needs some attention and probably an extended amount of recovery. So again, just like not overdoing it and have this sensation of being able to work out tomorrow is always a good amount of effort that you can manage and maintain. So how do we set you up for success? So with this, we're looking at what's your why. Most importantly, if you have a strong why, like Christy wants to run a marathon and she wants to run Boston and she's got this reason of why she does it. So she wakes up like way early, like 4 a.m. And certainly to help promote better sleep, as we see in this image here, she has to go to bed like 9, 8 o'clock on those days to be able to wake up and be able to function and be productive there. But there's a number of reasons giving you more energy. The more fit you are, the more energetic you are. I have no problem falling asleep. I get to the end of the day, I'm pretty tired. I've walked a lot, I've moved a lot, I've been active, and I put my head on the pillow, I fall asleep pretty quick. Your cognitive abilities, brain fog just disappears. It dissipates, and it's like a sunshiny day because your body's moving, hormones are flowing, blood is pumping. You, of course, get to live a longer life, or at least fingers crossed that the quality of life that you live every day is going to be a lot higher than if you weren't taking care of yourself. Support positive body image and confidence. I can't tell you how many phone calls I get on with people that are in not good shape. 2 phone calls I had yesterday, a gentleman was 290s, and then another person was at 240, and they both felt the same in terms of like their body confidence and image and stuff. It just wasn't working. We improve your physical health, so like you're just less risk of getting injured or hurt or sick, and your mental health is really good. This is so important here. This point is starting small. We just need to do more than you did yesterday. Literally, I can't tell you how many times I tell people that as well. Don't do all the squats you haven't been doing all month. Tomorrow, that's a horrible idea. You're going to be crazy sore. You just need to get the thing going and doing here. So we just move a little bit more, we feel a little bit better, and it becomes more encouraging. For the majority of people I ever work with, just linking a positive relationship with activity is the most important thing to do in the beginning. I just want someone to start out, go walk, go do a light circuit. just feel good about that exercise and how everything's going. All right. Avoid pushing yourself so that you don't get what we call DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. That's no fun. It's like usually happens 2 days after a workout. If you have it 24 hours after you really got after your muscle and probably did a little more harm than good in a sense and extended a recovery time. Being social is so much more fun. I have a buddy that comes over and works out with me. His office is like half mile from my house, and I have a garage gym, and we work out. And he actually called me, and we were going to work out today at this time. But he was like, "Are you open around like 12:30?" And something like, "Well, I've got a webinar that I need to jump on and do it twice apparently today." So I was about 13 minutes in the first one, but here we go again. So being social is super important to just being successful in this process. So find people, have a walk at lunchtime type group thing going on. Go to gyms and find people who are trying to improve their health too. You'll be way more supported and it'll be way more encouraging for you to do. Scheduling. I can't tell you how many times I'm going to do it after work. Well, 18 things start coming up and showing up because as the day goes long, responsibilities stack and you're way less likely to go work out. Hey, that 4-mile track workout you're going to do turns into 4 miles. I'm going to do it as a tempo run, turns into I'm just going to do 4 miles, turns into I'm going to walk 4 miles, turns into I ain't got time for that. That's literally how it can go through a course of a day. Just in your brain can just kind of melt down of that intensity and effort. So having the social support, but even more importantly, having time allocated is really important. So what's here's a let's chat time. What exercise modality is your favorite? I'd love to hear that. People in the chat now, running, walking their dog. We have a boot camp person here. That's awesome. We've got just a strength training person. So we got a big amount of different people in here. That's excellent. Now, I like to lift weights right now. I've been an endurance athlete for 2 decades too. So I've used to run marathons and triathlons and such. So that always interests me as well. It just right now my time is a little tight. So I focus on strength training and muscle building activities to keep myself as fit, strong, and capable as I can to do my everyday activities and ultimately look good when I'm 50. So that's 9 years from now, or almost 8. So my birthday's coming up. What do you find most challenging when planning workouts? Well, what's most challenging is setting the time aside, having a plan to go do it. Having support to make sure that it gets done. Those are some of the biggest ones that I always see when working with people, and things that I start troubleshooting, problem solving with them so that they can navigate it way better. All right, so let's go into building your workouts. Thanks for the chat there. I appreciate those who chimed in. So building your own workout, what do we do? Again, whatever you do in your normal everyday life, I will piggyback on this again, that it's way harder to do that than it is to build a workout. So the whole premise of today's talk is about doing a gym anywhere. So utilizing a gym is not necessary. You don't need equipment. You can do stuff outside. Certainly sometimes places, so what in our local area, it's called a parkour. Parkour is a trail that has different exercise stations that you can do activities on. Pull-ups and bars and push-ups and step-up things and such. These are all things that you can do. Ab stuff, benches. And I used to do boot camps on it. I would run around the loop and do exercises on those stations. And it was a lot of fun. All right, next up is everyday equipment. So instead of having like dumbbells, certainly we can have various things that, from obviously the good old cans of soup to gallon jugs to like your bag of dog food at 50 pounds. That can get heavy over time. We have things like sliders. These are, think of like a step back lunge. Those are really good to get the legs, the hips, the glutes working really well. But we can find, of course, we want to be biodegradable and find things that we can, like a paper plate on a carpet can slide very well. A kettlebell, we could use jugs or bag of rice. We could use a dumbbell if you had it. You don't need to. You can do everything you can with a kettlebell with a dumbbell, but you can't do everything with a dumbbell with a kettlebell per se, or it's a little more awkward. So if you're thinking about what equipment should I get, I would always tell you to get dumbbells over kettlebells. Only if you get kettlebells if you have, the funds and the means and you're actually going to use it as well. Because a lot of people buy kettlebells and they just don't use them that much at all. A yoga mat could be just a towel. A yoga block could be books or a box, and that'll help keep you stable if you were to use those to support yourself. So getting outdoors, like I said, the parkour here, we have walking paths, so we call it the bike and hike, or we have the towpath. We've got different places at like a playground. I really can't tell you how many times I've been at playgrounds and have done some pull-ups on the monkey bars while my kids are playing. I've definitely gotten workouts then because they were playing and they didn't want dad playing, and so I just do some push-ups and pull-ups, quite a bit of them, or dips. So warming up, how do we warm up? This is really important to get the body ready to go. So 5 to 10 minutes of low intensity cardio works amazing. We want to incorporate dynamic stretches that take joints through full range of motion. We want to include movements that mimic exercises. If you're going to be doing a chest workout, let's do some push-ups. If we're going to be doing a back workout, let's do some rows. It's going to warm up the muscles that you're doing. If we're going to run, we should probably jog. We don't necessarily need to run if we're doing a chest workout. Sure, they can get the blood flowing, but I'd only run for like 2 minutes to just get the body going, but then I would get into doing push-ups and chest activated type exercises. Of course, we need to always focus on form, technique. We have to be very intentional about the session and have a goal of why we're doing it so that you don't meander into texting on your phone or just kind of losing the oomph and the gusto, so to speak, for your workout itself. So building a workout, 5 to 10 minutes of like jogging, jumping jacks, dynamic stretching, or I like using things like a rower, ellipticals. Those warm up the whole body, not just your legs or cardio system. Main workout, 30 to 45 minutes. So option 1, steady state running or cycling at a moderate pace. Number 2 is having a little less intensity, but a little longer, and getting in some walking, stairs, maybe some rolling hills. And then we have a 5-minute cool down, and then, of course, stretching. We've been going about that. So dynamic stretches, mobility in the beginning, and stretching in the end. So warm up for strength, it's the same thing. We're stretching, we're getting the body warmed up. Here's some workouts that we can do. A compound is 3 sets of 10 for 3 sets of 8 deadlifts with dumbbells. Very simple. You could do like 5 exercises, 3 sets of 10. That's going to be giving you a good workout formula. If we need to do some isolation stuff, we do 3 sets of 10, 10 bicep curls with dumbbells, and tricep dips with off a bench. Could work out really well to work the arms. And then core, and 30 to 60 second plank variations or sit-ups or 3 sets of 15 Russian twists. We can build a workout around that. Then we cool down for 5 minutes and again stretch those muscles you just used. And you'll feel pretty good in that. Now here's the FIT principle. Components include frequency, intensity, time, and the type. So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to frequency. We're doing at least 2 strength training. We're doing 3, 4-ish cardio type things in the week, or running or moving. We want intensity to be something moderate to intense. We want time to be anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, or if we want to go off the American standard, 75 minutes of intense, 150 of moderate, or a blend. And the type can be cardio, strength, body weight, all sorts of different things that keep you active. If So we have cool down techniques. So we want to make sure that we bring the heart rate down, we slow down. If you stretch, you allow your body to filter out some of the lactic acid that you've been building up over time. So having a good stretch routine would work. Now, so here's some moves that we can do, like a split squat you can do to help get warmed up. We have standing kickback, so band works really well. This is you just standing. You're going to work on your glutes, your abs, your core is going to be challenged here. The split squat, the one before, we're obviously doing legs. We've got calf raise and a step up. So this is like a combo move. So you step up onto a box and then lift onto your toes. You get a 2-for-1 type deal. We've got push-ups, of course. It's a good old classic. Everyone knows the push-ups. I'm sure we've all had to do them. I've done, 100,000 or more probably in my lifetime. Probably more. And sit-ups, of course. I've done a lot of sit-ups. I used to teach ab class way back in 2001, 2003. In that time frame, I would teach phenomenal abdominal for 30 minutes, a couple times a week. People loved it. It was awesome. So core strength is super important here. So as we wrap up, how will you incorporate one or more of these into your daily life? So hit the chat up. I'd love to hear. One person's chiming in. They're going to walk their dog more. I absolutely know your dog will love you. That's definite and for sure. What else we have? We're going to get another day back in the gym and get a little more consistent from 2 to 3 times. Awesome. Someone else, they're going to go find a running group and you'll find, it's October, so they start training for a turkey trot. Totally could do that in the time frame. You have 4 or 5 weeks that you'll be able to get some movement on your legs. I love that idea. It'll be a lot of fun. Take the family out and have a good time in that situation. So the conclusion is you don't need a gym to get a good workout. We're mixing aerobic, anaerobic, and muscle building activities together. There's so many resources from online classes, hiking, being outside, fitness equipment, things you can get at your house or do from your phone. So it's endless to stay in shape. So I really want to appreciate your time today and everything that's going on here with what we've